People ask me what the hardest part of the RV trip was. And honestly, I would say it was the bad weather. Depending on when you're traveling, the weather is going to be different in different states. But because we were traveling in autumn, or as the Americans say, fall, there was a lot more bad weather than we were expecting. As from October until we got to Florida, pretty much most of the states that we drove through, there was a lot of rain, it was cold, it was windy. You have to heat the RV as well inside because at night the temperature drops a lot. I was literally sleeping in thermals most of the time. I had to have the heating on at night before I went to bed and then first thing in the morning when I got up because it was like so icy in there. I mean, I complain about how cold it is in England, but it was actually pretty chilly there as well, especially in Colorado because it was so high up. I would say the long driving days were a bit of a drag as well. If you have to make up time or you just want to get to a state really quickly, there could be like a day of driving. If you're looking at your phone, you can get a little bit motion sick. I would say that you do need to kind of have a few hours outside of the RV every day just to be on your feet and not feel like you're moving all of the time, because if your ears are a bit funny, then you will get a little bit dizzy like I did. Me and my husband were friends before we got together, so we have like a very solid relationship and we get on really well, which is very underrated quality in relationships. And I think it's a very testing time for a lot of couples to do a road trip of this nature, because doing a month is one thing, that would probably still be quite claustrophobic. But doing 3 months, you have to really, really get on well with your partner or your friend or whoever you're doing the trip with, because you are living, breathing in this tiny little tin can. You're doing everything there together. You can't escape each other. You're going to be driving together, eating together. Everything is so compact. There is nowhere to escape. I've heard from other people that they have had arguments and it's been very stressful for them. Luckily for us, it wasn't. It was more the external factors that were stressful. Like I said, the weather, or like when we got a flat tire, when we had problems with the RV and we had to take it to the dealership. That was stressful because obviously it was annoying, it was exhausting, and it took us away from our original itinerary and route. So that just made us feel like irritated, but not at each other, just at the situation. Those were probably the hardest things. So if you're somebody who loves your creature comforts and you don't like being dirty, then an RV trip might be quite difficult for you, because you have to kind of sleep on a hard bed, you have to shower in this like tiny little thing, and there will be problems. Like with our water supply, it was like smelling like egg, like sulfur for the whole 3 months. We kept taking it back. They said they couldn't find anything wrong with it. They couldn't fix it. So I just had to like wash in water that smelled like egg. So I kind of tried to avoid washing in the RV and then wash at the campgrounds. But if you haven't got that option, or you're trying to save money and you're boondocking, then you might have to shower in egg water. Yeah. To do an RV trip this long, you have to think about if you're going to be able to tolerate that. You're going to be in this like tiny little space for that long. I think it's natural to have days where you're really fed up, or you just don't want to drive anymore and you kind of just want to sit still. And that's what RV parks are for, or campgrounds, so that you can just kind of have some time to walk around, be out of the RV. I think it's really important to make sure that you try and do exercise wherever you can, because obviously the majority of the time you're going to be sitting down, you're going to feel stiff, you're going to feel kind of like bleh, you know. There were definitely days where I felt like that, where we had to do like a solid day of driving and I just felt like the good outweighs the bad, in my opinion. But I'm sure other people have had road trips where maybe other things have gone wrong, where that's affected their overall opinion and enjoyment of the trip. There were days where the weather was so bad. Like when we were in Arkansas, it was just raining heavily for like 2 days, and we were like stuck in the RV, and we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. We didn't have internet access because we weren't at an RV park. We were boondocking. So that was really hard, because then you are just relying on the signal that you have on your phone. You're very aware that your battery is going to die soon, or if you have a battery pack, then you're going to nuke that, and then you've got to think, oh my God, where am I going to go to charge this the next day? If you have hikes or things planned like we did, it's just very disappointing that you can't go and do them, or do them in the rain, which I wouldn't recommend, because the rocks and everything get really slippery and it actually feels dangerous. You might plan this great magical trip, and then there might be days where the weather's bad, where you can't do anything, and then you might have to cut out some parks or hikes. That can be so disheartening when you only have a limited amount of time. Like, we had a lot of time, but it was still disheartening for us, because we were like, oh, we hate just sitting around doing nothing. This is boring. Because, I mean, at least if you're at home and it's raining and it's cold, which it pretty much is all the time in England, you got Netflix, you can just put the TV on, you can go to your kitchen, you can make something. In the RV, you're always weary that like you're going to run out of propane, you're going to run out of electricity, you're going to run out of water, because these things you have to keep topping up. Yes, there is like a decent supply, but again, it depends how much of it you use. I'd say those are the negatives when doing a road trip. Okay guys, that's it for today. If you like this video, please drop me a follow and a like. And if you have any questions, let me know.